Those were protests that began almost immediately after Vladimir Putin, president of Russia, announced a form of a draft happening in his country. They have not been doing well in their attempt to conquer Ukraine. More troops are apparently needed if they're going to do this. And so he is hoping to generate about 300,000, perhaps more soldiers. We're gonna resolve that, right? There we go, a little bit of tech trubs that we're gonna hopefully fix. But continuing on, and in response to that, hundreds were arrested. In the end, it says, so there was immediate response, hundreds had been arrested. Over 1,300 people were apparently swept up in mass arrests. You are not free to do these sorts of anti-war protests in Russia, unfortunately. And we have comments from some of the specific protesters. One, Vasily Fedorov, a student, says, everyone is scared. I am for peace and I don't want to have to shoot. But coming out now is very dangerous. Otherwise, there would be many more people. And yes, so when you see these protests now, or when you saw them initially in Russia following the invasion of Ukraine, it is obviously impressive, but understand that it would be larger if it were a free society. If people felt like they were not going to be arrested, potentially locked up, beaten, those sorts of things. And so you already see many though. You have another, Oksana Sidorenko, a student who says, I came to say that I am against war and mobilization. Why are they deciding my future for me? I'm scared for myself, for my brother. We call, and then by the way, we have this great statement by the Vesna Youth Democratic Movement who says, we call on the Russian military in units and at the front line to refuse to participate in the special operation or to surrender as soon as possible. You don't have to die for Putin. You are needed in Russia by those who love you. For the authorities, you are just cannon fodder where you will be squandered without any meaning or purpose, and I couldn't put it any better myself. There is nothing to be gained for the Russian people, for any individual Russian soldier in conquering Ukraine, in removing their democracy, in devastating their civilian population. All there is damage to the Russian military and countless Russian dead. And of course, the Ukrainians as well. And many Russians seem to agree. And so we can't be that surprised that in the aftermath of that call up, the search for how to break arm at home apparently became much more popular inside of Russia. The BBC actually interviewed a few people who were looking to intentionally injure themselves so they would not be forced to participate. Others are fleeing the country. Prices of one-way flights out of Russia surged following the announcement. Images on social media appeared to show long queues at border posts, so they want to get out of there. And it's not just regular Russians who don't want to participate. There were these Russian YouTubers on a channel called Popular Politics that did a prank. They called the 32-year-old son of Dmitry Peskov, the press secretary of Vladimir Putin. The pranksters were pretending to be recruitment officers, and they told Peskov that he'd been drafted and needed to attend a medical examination the following day. He responded, obviously not. You must understand it is not right for me to be there. I have to resolve this on a different level. If I have to defend my motherland, I will step up, no problem. But you need to understand the political implications and nuances of my situation, which I will grant an allowance that potentially something was lost in translation there. But that sounds like the child of a powerful person, a child 32-year-old, or the son of a powerful person who feels immune from all of this real world stuff, the implications of what the regime gets up to. They're not gonna go there to be killed in some deedless war in Ukraine. I don't know, maybe he'd be totally ready to defend Russia or whatever. And maybe he's good, maybe he doesn't want there to be a war. I don't know the guy. But anyway, yeah, no, they don't want to do it. Now, his dad, the press secretary for Putin, put out a statement telling a Russian news site, Podyam, that the conversation had been taken out of context and that his son would make the quote, only right decision. Okay, put a pin in that. We'll see in 6 weeks if he's serving in Ukraine. I'm willing to bet he's not going to, but I love the idea that it was taken out of context. What context would make that any better? And I feel for the guy. I don't want any Russian to have to go to Ukraine. They shouldn't be there. The ones who are there should leave immediately. But this is also a great demonstration of how this is not a conflict designed to hurt the powerful in Russia. That's why it's not a full draft, by the way. That's why it's a limited draft for those who already have military service, which is already an inequitable distribution across the Russian population. This is designed to protect the powerful.